What is up, guys? Pie Muffin here, and we are back with another Tales of Vesperia video. Today, I'm going to talk about some good and some bad. So, obviously, Tales of Vesperia Definitive Edition has been out for about, 3 days now. And the game is great. Obviously, I've been playing it a lot. If you've been keeping up with my Let's Play of it, I've been putting up 2 videos a day. I've already recorded like 19 parts of that, so I've got over a week's worth of uploads coming. And I'm loving playing through the game again. It's just as fun as I remember. But there is also some, I don't really want to say repercussions for this game existing, but there is some bad. So we're going to talk about the good, and we're going to talk about the bad for fans. So let's start off with the good. Obviously, the biggest thing is that this came to the West, the full version. You know, we have all the content that the PS3 Japanese version had. So, you know, being able to play as Patty, Flynn, all the extra dungeons and stuff. This is going to have some spoilers to the game. So if you haven't played through the game and you want to know some of the new content just from playing it, this probably isn't the video for you. So obviously, right before you deal with Barbos, there's a whole little dungeon that wasn't in the original Western version where you have to go in the underground in these sewers and come out the other side. In the Xbox version, all you did is you walked up to the door, you went through the front door, and there was the Barbo scene. So hopefully there's more stuff like that in the future in the game. Obviously, I'm right before you fight Barbos. Like, I'm at that final save point before you fight Barbos right now, as of recording this video. So yeah, that's one major thing that's great. You know, what's also great is, you know, as we're on the Bandai Twitter, you know, there's a lot of kind of promotion going on for Tales of Vesperia. We got that stuff there. We've got this up here, Crunchyroll. So it is giving Tales more publicity, which is also a great thing. Now, I'm kind of going to go back and forth between good and bad points now because it kind of ties into this. So here's one of the bad things. One of the bad things is, obviously, Vesperia is probably the most overhyped Tales game in existence, even in Japan. So the downside to this is, obviously, there's a lot of kind of, I want to say casual Tales fans, probably people who have only played Symphonia and Vesperia in the West. Those are the only ones they know, and they don't really want to try anything new. So the chances of us getting more remasters of games that hadn't previously come over here, like Destiny 2, I just don't see that being a game that people are really going to care about. That's the downside, is obviously, you know, Vesperia has great gameplay. It has a great skill system that's tied to the weapons. The story's pretty good. I'm not going to say it's the best, because honestly, overall, Vesperia to me just feels like 3 games in one. Because it's like, oh, we got to beat this guy, then we got to beat this guy, and then we got to beat a third guy. So it doesn't really feel like a cohesive story to me all the time. It just feels like kind of like 3 arcs in one game. Whereas if you compare it to something like Symphonia, we knew the Desians were the villain, but then the Desians, we didn't find out who was really the leader of the Desians till the end of the game. Whereas for Vesperia, it's like, you know, oh, Barbo stole the Aquablastia. Alexei is a corrupt commandant, and then Duke wants to destroy all humanity because he thinks that they need to be purged, basically. So yeah, there's that. There's the fact that Vesperia is a very overhyped game, and so some of these other titles, you know, and another downside kind of is that, you know, obviously Bandai wants to reach out to content creators to promote their game. But the downside to this is a lot of the, I'm not going to say all because obviously I don't know everybody who gets sponsored by Bandai, but there are a lot of content creators that are very surface level Tales fans. I'm not going to throw out any names because I'm not trying to throw shade at anybody. It's not their fault that they're surface level. You know, they play a lot of different games on their channels. They can't be expected to know everything. But it's not really Bandai's fault either because they're just reaching out to popular people who can promote their game. The downside for this, for the Tales community, though, is that these people are just like, oh, Vesperia and Symphonia, best games. You know, don't need the other ones. And then I've seen some people who, you know, will crap talk some of the other games. You know, obviously, you know, maybe Zestiria and Berseria weren't the best games in the franchise, but you got people being like, oh, I didn't even finish those games, even though they're claiming to be Tales fans. So the downside with that is like, if we want more Tales games over here in the West, I think it's a good step with Vesperia, but at the same time, not every game plays like Vesperia. So the people who are drawn into Vesperia, obviously the Tales game has a different, I guess, quirk or gimmick in each game. Obviously in Xillia you had the link system. I don't really know what you would say for Vesperia. I guess like, burst arts and stuff like that. Obviously Zestiria was armatization, and Berseria, it was kind of your, I forget what your R2 was called, but it was basically your, like, it's not really an over limit, but basically to continue your combos, giving up one of your, like, limit gauges. So each Tales game does have its own little quirk of how everything plays. But the thing is like, if they want to try and bring something like Destiny 2 or any of these other like side titles that haven't gotten like a lot of love, that might want console love, like I can tell you right now, as someone who is fine with any gameplay in a Tales game, as long as it, I mean, it may sound kind of shallow to say as long as it has the Tales brand, I'm fine with it, but I kind of am because I love these characters. A lot of people who played Symphonia and Vesperia probably won't like Destiny 2. Like, if they came out with, like, a $40 pack that had Destiny and Destiny 2 remastered on PlayStation Steam, I guarantee you, most of the fan base that bought Vesperia that aren't diehard Tales fans are probably not going to buy it, because they're going to look at the gameplay and be like, oh, I don't want to play this. This doesn't look like Vesperia. This doesn't look like my Tales game. So I could see that being a reason as to why that wouldn't do so well. So the only real, like, way for this to kind of move forward is with newer titles. And obviously, we have Tales of Krystoria, which is a mobile game coming out, which I guarantee you most fans who just played Vesperia are not going to play because it's a mobile gacha game. And then we've also got that unannounced, well, it's announced, but we don't have a title, Tales game that's for console that's in the works right now, but we don't have a release date or even a name yet. Obviously, Tales Fest is probably our best bet to find out, but I believe that's in, like, June. So that's still a ways away. So, I mean, it is really nice that, and I have been seeing a lot of people getting into Vesperia for the first time, and this is actually introducing them to the Tales series, so they may try out some of the other titles, but it's really going to depend what Bandai does next moving forward, because obviously, the producer, months ago said that he wants to try and, bring more Tales games to multi-console platforms. So that would mean like Switch, Xbox, PC. So, we could see a Xillia and Xillia 2 port for PC, or maybe the Switch. We might see a Zestiria and Berseria combo pack for the Switch, which would be great. I mean, any kind of stuff like that is great, but it really doesn't leave a lot of hope for some of the older titles to get remasters like Fantasia, Destiny, Eternia. And really the only hope that those older games have is for full-on remakes. Because the only way that the overall fan base in the West is going to buy those games is if you make them like the games that people already love. So, take Destiny 2, for example. They would have to make Tales of Destiny 2 play like some of the newer titles. Maybe not like Vesperia, but it may have like a Berseria or Zestiria kind of 3D fighting system, which would suck for the old fans that like Tales of Destiny 2, but it would make more money because it would be like the newer titles that people have been buying. So there's going to be a downside either way you look at this. So I would say that it's more than likely that anything pre-Symphonia will not get remasters. They'll probably just get full-on remakes. So they'll keep the story, they'll keep the characters, but then they'll do everything else from scratch. The world, maybe not the skits. They may just touch up the skits so that they look newer. They can still keep all the lines and everything. And obviously for something like Tales of Destiny 2, it never came out over here, so they would have to obviously dub it, but I believe Destiny 1 came out over here, so that would be kind of weird. That'd be over 15 years since that game came out. So the voices would not be the same for a dub, so that would also be an issue. Unless they decided to just, completely remaster both of them. Or remake, sorry. I always get them mixed up. So yeah, that is obviously a downside to the diehard Tales fans, games like that. Obviously, a game like Tales of Innocence would be great to see, give it a clean version on PS4. You don't really have to change the gameplay for that, because that's post-Symphonia. So that game will be fine, as long as you just make it look nice. Tales of Hearts, throw it on console. But it's like some of the titles that are not so well known, I just feel like aren't going to do as well over here in the West, because they don't have that Vesperia hype, I guess. But yeah, I mean, overall, this is a good thing for Tales in general, because it is giving more exposure to fans, and maybe there will be more fans than I think that will care about just having these characters, having the story, and maybe won't judge the gameplay as harshly. I mean, it's really going to depend what we see moving forward, because like I said, Vesperia is out. We don't know what they're going to do. Right now, we're just kind of waiting on Cristoria. They aren't having the live stream until like the beginning of February. That got postponed. It was supposed to be mid-January. And then once Cristoria is out, we're literally on a waiting game until Tales Fest in June. So until June, or we get closer to June when we get some more information, there's really not much to say what the future of Tales is going to be. But the whole Vesperia situation has good points to it and kind of has bad points to it, because the more you overhype one title, the more the other titles suffer. If all the fans only care about one of your games and don't care about the rest of them, then what's the point of even making them if they don't care about the characters or the story or the game itself? But anyways, guys, that is it for this video. Just kind of wanted to talk about the good and bad stuff about Vesperia Definitive Edition. Let me know if you guys are enjoying the game, and let me know any points you guys might want to add to my argument. Whether you agree or disagree, I definitely would like to know. Don't forget to subscribe for more if you're new to the channel. I will see you all next time. Have a wonderful day, everyone.